Preston, welcome back to Just See Through TV. And in this episode, we're gonna be talking about the psychology of problem solving and how we can really get good at this to push through problems and get the results that we really want. So you know how there's some people who they just always seem to get what they want, they always seem to make it happen, they always seem to get results, almost like they have some sort of like superpower, you don't really know what it is, but they just make it happen. And then there's other people who they just don't. They seem to crumble so easily. They seem to never be able to make it happen, to never be able to get results. And what is that? What is the difference between these two people when I'm sure that they would both like to have the things that they want in their life? So what is it that happens there with regard to problem solving, and how can we use this answer to get what it is that we want? I think that when approaching any problem, there's gonna be two main ways that we can approach it, right? The first is that this is a problem that is solvable, and the second is that this is a problem that is not solvable. To make this really clear and really figure out how we can get the results we want to be getting, let me grab the drawing board here and we're gonna get down to business. All right, so to make this really clear, let's take an example. I want you to imagine for a moment that I tell you you are trying to get somewhere, but you're in a box and you can't get out, right? So maybe in your mind, you would think something like this. So let's say you're trying to get somewhere, but you're in a box and you can't get out, right? And so the type of person that does not get results in their life, I want to show you how they look at this problem. How they would look at this problem is they would either give up right away, like they would say, okay, I can't get out, I got it. Or they might ask one or two questions, like they might say, okay, are the walls, is it made of glass? Can I just easily push it open? And they might ask one or two questions, and if the answer is no, you can't, you're in a box and you can't get out, they would maybe give up and say, okay, well, all right, that is what it is, right? And guys, I find actually that solving problems and getting results, whether it's in professional life or personal life of any category, it really seems to follow the 80-20 rule of, so let me show you what I mean by this. So let's say with the icebergs, right, that are under the water. This is a kind of great example. So they say that 80% of the iceberg or more is underwater and this 20% is on the top. So it's the same with solving problems and getting results, where a lot of people in life, they're gonna settle for what they can see up here because they can't see down here and they don't know how to get there. So this is gonna be the results that they get in life, which doesn't look like that much, right? And it's not. But underneath the surface, this is where all the results are. Now it involves some problem solving skills to get here, but this is where the results are. Then the obvious question becomes, okay, so how does this psychology of problem solving work? How is it that we get those results instead of these ones? And my most simple answer, guys, remember in the very beginning we said that there are two ways to approach problem solving. One is that the problem is solvable and the other that it's not. So for the person that believes the problem is not solvable, they'll take what's up here because they either don't believe this exists, or they're not willing to do the work, or they don't think they're the type of person that can make that happen, or they don't have big enough goals, or they don't care enough, or it could be a number of things, but they leave this on the table, whether in business, money related, or in anything. So that's where they stop, right? The person who believes that the problem is solvable, they're going to get here no matter what, because they're starting from the standpoint of, okay, this is a solvable problem, so let me solve it. And then they're gonna keep taking action and action and action until they get there. So to show you what I mean, let's give an example of going back to this. Let's say that you gave this problem to a more successful person in their life, and you say you're in a box and you can't get out and you wanna get here. The way that the successful person would think about this is they would say, okay, what are the walls made out of? Are there certain parts of the wall that are weaker than others? Do I have a shovel? Do I have something where I can dig my way out? Is there anybody in this box with me? Do they maybe know something that I don't know about how to get out of here? Who is it that locked me in here? Can I talk to them? Can I make some sort of a deal with them? How long am I locked in here for? Why am I locked in here? Maybe we can work something out. Do I have my cell phone? Do I have a computer? Do I have any way to contact people? So your mind just keeps going and going and going until you figure out some way to get out of here. And, there might be somewhere, somebody who can help you with this. Or maybe, do you have a chainsaw in there? Do you have any tools in there? Do you have a hammer in there? Is there any food in there? That might be kind of a good thing to know. Are there people with other cells that are around here? Is there any way for you to help each other? So I'm just rattling off some examples, but I'm trying to show you the example that for a non-successful person, they see themselves in this box, and if they're in a box, the box is what it is, and they can't get out, and they see the problem as not solvable. But for the successful person, they don't really wonder if they're ever gonna get there. They know that they are. They're assuming that the problem is solvable. Now they just have to figure out how to solve it. And I'm not necessarily saying that's easy, but there might be some way out of here. Maybe it's not on the surface like we saw here. Maybe it's not something you can easily see. But remember the 80-20 rule. 80% of the results in life are below the surface. This is where all of the good stuff is in life. But you have to be willing to start with, okay, this is a solvable problem. This is something that has an answer somewhere, and I'm gonna get it. And once our mind locks into this, that there's an answer somewhere, that there's some way for us to get here, we start thinking of all these different ideas of what can get us out of here until we find something. And the human will is very, very, very powerful. So when it sets itself on something, and look, there's some things in life where maybe there's not a way, but the successful person applies this way of thinking to everything in their life. Of, okay, this is a solvable problem, so how am I gonna do this? And then they just go about thinking of how to make that happen. All right, let's get ourselves a new page here. I know my drawings always get a little bit crazy. So now let's make this a little more tangible. Let's say that we're here and we all have these boxes that we feel like we're in. Maybe that box for us is maybe romance. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's social life. Maybe it's happiness. It could be a lot of things, right? Maybe it's our body. And remember, there are two different ways to approach a problem. The first is that the problem is not solvable, and the second is that it is. So we actually get to make a choice of what type of person that we're gonna be and what type of results we're gonna get. So are we gonna be the type of person that takes just the tip of the iceberg and maybe gets a little bit of these things, but really not much in our lives, and we see ourselves as we're in this box and it just kind of is what it is? Or are we gonna see it as, okay, I want every single one of these things, and I'm gonna figure out how the heck to get out of this box. And then remember, like we're talking about, maybe we can just push it over. Sometimes these walls are not as strong as we think they are. Or maybe they're bendable, or maybe you can push them out and then climb out. Or maybe there's a ladder in here and you just push this up and you're out. So I want you to start thinking about what the box is for you. Again, whether it's family, social life, happiness, body, money, romance. What is this box for you, and how are you treating it? Are you treating it as this is just the way it is, which is understandable because it's easy for it to feel that way? Or are you treating this as I'm gonna get everything below the tip of this iceberg and starting from, okay, there's an answer to this, and I'm gonna find out what it is. And how do we know that there's an answer to this? We know because tons of people have gotten these answers who are probably not as smart as us or attractive as us or whatever the case may be, but people have figured their way out of this box. And not all of them were just given it at birth. So there's a way out of here. And I think the most important piece of problem solving is starting from that standpoint of this is a solvable problem and I'm gonna solve it. So guys, I hope this is helpful. Let me get this out of the way. So guys, thank you so much. This was the psychology of problem solving. I hope that this has helped. And of course, there's always a lot of things that go into this, right? Like we talk about in the other videos, you wanna keep yourself in a peak state. You want your stories that you're telling yourself to be that you're the type of person that makes things happen. But my little tidbit or secret for this episode was that if we're gonna solve complex problems and really get results in life, we have to start by viewing it as this is a problem that's solvable and I'm gonna figure it out. This is a problem that is solvable and I'm gonna figure it out. When we start from that frame of reference, it's really, really incredible what's possible. So guys, whether you're new here or this is your first time or you've been here before but haven't yet, please subscribe so that I know that these are videos that are adding value and that I can kind of keep pivoting to keep making my content better and better and most helpful for you guys. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. I will see you guys in the next episode. And as always, lots and lots of love. Peace.